Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Happy 2014. Right, we've got a new year. Good news. Thank you for the song. Actually, just I think it was Friday night. Said, this is a really nice song. I'm hearing it on the radio and kind of going through my head. And maybe you could do it as an offering song sometime. And, whoa! They just picked it up right away and ran with it with just one day's notice. So really appreciate our worship team, right? The effort they make for us. With the beginning of any new year, there's always like the determinations that we make for a new start, a new beginning. And I read about this really significant prayer. Someone prayed, dear Heavenly Parent, so far in this great new year, I've not gossiped or talked bad about anybody else, and I haven't lost my temper or got upset with anyone, and I haven't been dominated by feeling greedy and having to take from other people, or grumpy or nasty in a bad mood or cruel, and I wasn't rude to anyone, and I'm so very thankful for being able to do all that. So Heavenly Parent, I'm about to get up the first day of this new year, so please help me persevere. So, nothing like making a start, right? We start where we are. So, we received a motto for 2014 from True Mother, our founder, Mrs. Moon. And the motto goes, this is like a New English translation of the motto. The original motto is, let us become owners of Cheon Il Guk, who practice true love in resemblance to our Creator, the Heavenly Parent. That's kind of like the King James version, with the Korean words included. The good news for modern man version, the modern English version, is more, let's become people who truly possess the heavenly kingdom by loving as our Creator, the Heavenly Parent, loves. So, in thinking about this, and just remembering even Jesus from the Sermon on the Mount, he said, seek first God's kingdom and what God wants, and then all your other needs will be met. Actually, when I was in college, I painted that across the wall of my dormitory. Now, that was my hope for final exams, right? Because here I am, I'm going to Bible studies, and I'm reading, I'm praying, and I was supposed to study for that test, right? Well, put God's kingdom first. That kind of worked, but actually, it did give me a little bit more calm when I went into the test, though. And I did remember, basically my prayer was, God, please help me remember the things that I studied. And if I didn't study it, well, okay, it's fine. I'm not going to get that on the test. But if I studied, please just help me remember stuff. So, in thinking about what does it mean to, as owners of Cheon Il Guk, the Korean term, or the possessors of the heavenly kingdom, what does it mean to possess something? How do we come to possess things in our life? So, how do we come to possess the kingdom of heaven? Well, if you think about it, there's a couple of different ways that we come to possess things in our life. So, what's the first, the main way? You want to get something, what do you have to do? You buy it, right? You go out and you buy it. So, next time you go to Walmart, you look through the shelves and you find the shelf that says Kingdom of Heaven. And you haven't seen that yet? Maybe it's coming out new this next year. Well, I haven't seen it. So it's actually not something that you can really buy. But, on the other hand, it's something that is paid for with lots of sacrifice. So there is something, some condition. And we had a long discussion yesterday in our Divine Principles seminar. Again, I invite you to come join us on Saturday mornings. We have a great discussion. In fact, we didn't even do lectures yesterday because we had such a great discussion. We had breakfast together, and then we're just sharing. We talked a lot about, well, God, how can the good God allow the fall to happen? And we went into depth about that and understanding about human responsibility. It was actually quite a stimulating and good discussion. And one of the tricky things is we use this word condition all the time in unification language, and it doesn't quite make sense to most people. I have to make a good condition. You have to make a good condition. What, conditioner for your hair? Or what's the story about this condition stuff? And we kind of came up with, well, basically, making a condition is making the circumstances or the situation, like the conditions are right for rain, right? Well, we want to make the conditions right for God's love, right? So that's what we do when we're taking actions that we hope will cause some other good thing to happen. So, buying it, well, you make the condition if you pay for something, right? Well, another way is that you can make it. Maybe you don't, for some of us, for Christmas presents, we didn't have money to go out and buy stuff, right? So we made a lot of our Christmas presents, right? Well, how about making the kingdom of heaven? Has anybody ever tried to do that before? Actually, a lot of people have. Usually they're termed cults or political parties or or governments or the whole Marxist theory is built around we can make the kingdom of heaven if we just get rid of all the rich people. We make sure that everybody has the same and no one gets more than anybody else. And there's lots of theories and approaches to how we make the ideal world or a heavenly kingdom. But almost all of those, if we look at them, rarely deal with what's at the root cause of that, which is at the core of unification teachings, because we're committed, right, to creating the heavenly kingdom. But in order to build that, there's some fundamental flaw and problem, the issue of the original sin that has to be dealt with. And this is why, from our Jewish and Christian tradition, we need the Messiah. The call and the need for the Messiah in order to make that heavenly kingdom. Well, and what's another way? Well, if you conquer a country, you occupy it, right? What's that expression? Possession is 9/10 of the law. It's like, well, I got it, so it's mine. Well, but actually, is that really true? Do we really own it just because we possess it? The right of ownership is something that is much more deep. A lot of times we occupy the kingdom of heaven because we walk around pretending that we're really nice people, right? We go to church, I go to church every Sunday. I am going to the kingdom of heaven. Some people ask, well, you know what's going to happen to you when you die? Are you going to heaven? Well, I go to church every Sunday, of course. Right? Oops, maybe not, right? So just occupying something, there's something to that. We want to practice, we want to fill ourselves with that heavenly kingdom, but just occupying, not quite enough. Well, the most profound way, and especially when we talk about it in our Jewish and Christian tradition, to receive the kingdom of heaven is through our inheritance. It's actually something that we receive because of parental love. Because of a love of someone that we have a heartfelt connection to, that we inherit and we receive these benefit and blessing from them. It's something that we're really grateful for and thankful for. Well, if we look back at the motto, that original, let's become people who truly possess the heavenly kingdom by loving as our Creator, the Heavenly Parent, loves. Or as Mother Moon put it, who practice true love in resemblance to God, our Creator, our Heavenly Parent. Well, so the key to truly inheriting the heavenly kingdom, buying, building, occupying, inheriting, is the practice of true love. The true love, living for the benefit of others, using our abilities, our qualities, our strengths to make a positive difference in the people's lives around us. This is the key to the kingdom, is love. Love is at the core of everything. So when we look at those points, inheritance comes because there is a connection of love between the person who's passing this on. We want to inherit from God, we want to inherit from true parents this incredible blessing that we have. And this is why we talked so deeply about the marriage blessing, the significance of baptism. All these are rites and rituals, ceremonies, conditions that we make to be able to inherit from God, to inherit God's blessing. It's something we do simply because of love. And we receive with a heart of gratitude and appreciation. Well, on the foundation, though, of that inheritance, if we just inherit something, many people that have inherited great wealth, and they just squandered it, just wasted it. We inherit incredible blessings, but it's easy for us just to waste it. To become true owners, to become true possessors of God's kingdom, we need to go beyond just inheriting, just receiving it. We need to come to resemble it. We need to be people who occupy it through following the practices and the traditions. We go through the ceremonies and the rituals. We come to church not because it's going to give us a key, but because it helps us grow to become people who can truly dwell as citizens in that heavenly kingdom. People who occupy it because we resemble the citizens. We practice the traditions. We practice the standards of love, most importantly, for building that heavenly kingdom. So we want to come to resemble those people, those citizens of the heavenly kingdom. Also, it's something that has to be grown. That inheritance we receive as a gift is just a seed for each one of us. It's a seed that's planted in each one of our hearts, and is the foundation that we have to cultivate, nurture, and grow, and develop into something that God's looking forward to see. What are you going to do with this precious gift I'm passing on to you? This inheritance that we receive from true parents. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to grow it into? God can't wait to see what we're going to do with the blessings that we have. How we're going to make a difference in the world. And truthfully, when we grow things, we find lots of joy. When we build something, we feel like, okay, I inherited all this, but I took what I inherited, I took that blessing I inherited, and I built it into something even greater, even larger. So I have some claim of genuine ownership. In order to be an owner of Cheon Il Guk, an owner of the heavenly kingdom, I also need to be a person who's building it, who's growing it, who's making it develop and helping it to develop into something that God can find joy in. Well, and then the last point is, remember the first thing we said was you had to buy it, to own something. Well, in order to keep the blessing, in order to grow something, in order to truly dwell there, we need to sacrifice for it. We need to invest ourselves, buy it. We need to invest ourselves to make this thing grow. We know that the foundation of Christianity was built, the foundation for the second coming of the Messiah was built on the foundation of incredible sacrifice, on the blood of martyrs. We know that when we look at history, even the preparation for Jesus' coming, for God to be able to send the Messiah, was on a foundation of incredible sacrifice made by the chosen people. And the foundation that we stand on, the foundation is of all those who went before us. We inherit that incredible foundation of sacrifice. So for us, if we want to keep and build this, it means we need to make conditions and offerings and sacrifice. We need to invest ourselves, not just sit back and wait for it all to come to me. We need people who invest, who spend our energy, our resources, in order to build and create this heavenly kingdom, this true dwelling place of God, where God's love can manifest in our world. So, in 2006, Father Moon, it was a time of lots of proclamations and declaration, the beginning of this era of Cheon Il Guk, of the heavenly kingdom, and the spiritual foundation was laid. And he gave a talk in the summer of 2006. And he talked a long time about what does it mean to be a citizen of the heavenly kingdom, a citizen of Cheon Il Guk. And he had actually 7 main points that he made. And I condensed them, so I'm just going to give you, I summarized them into 5. But these are the characteristics of citizens, owners of the heavenly kingdom, owners of Cheon Il Guk. First and foremost, we are people who follow our conscience. Now, this comes on a foundation of the understanding that we have, because we've studied the principle. We seek to understand God's perspective, God's heart and motivation for things. when we gain that understanding, as we grow and ground ourselves in understanding the truth, then our conscience becomes more and more clear. Am I bringing joy to God? The action that I'm taking right now, is it making God happy? I remember Reverend Thompson talked a few weeks ago, the mission of our church is we're the Let's Make God Happy church. Sounds like a good motto? A good theme for my life. How do I comfort God's heart? How do I make God happy? Well, Father Moon has told us many times, the closest thing to us, even closer than God, is that function of the conscience that God gave to all of us. The conscience that can guide us to know what the right thing is to do and isn't. If we follow our conscience, a lot of times I think I'm going to... Oh, wait a minute. And you hear that voice telling you, maybe not. That's probably not a good idea. When we're young, how would your mom or dad feel if they saw you doing that? Okay. How would your heavenly parent feel? How does your heavenly parent feel seeing you do this? Does he feel joy? Happy? Yeah, I'm so glad. Keep going. Or, this is not good for you. As a parent, especially a loving parent, I know this is bad for you. This is hurting you. It's bad for your spirit. Please, I want to protect you. I would like to take you away from that. Our conscience is that guide. Our conscience. Now, we can practice ignoring the conscience. In fact, there's lots of us that, a lot in the world. We see people who work hard to ignore the conscience. We need to invest in our conscience. We need to invest in trusting. If God encourages us, and the more we listen to it and respond to that conscience, the easier it becomes, the more natural it becomes just to become people of conscience who follow what we know is the right thing and take the actions that we know are the right actions to take. Well, the second point that he makes, and I'm combining a couple points, but Father Moon says we need to prepare ourselves for our eternal life, not just our physical life. We need to take care of the practical things, our health and like that, but prepare ourselves for the spiritual world. We need to live lives without regret. The most difficult thing, if you think about going to the spiritual world, is to go into the spiritual world, end our physical life with regrets. If only I had done this in my life. If only in my life I had or hadn't done this. All these things. So we should keep our eye on, this isn't all there is. Our physical life is our stepping stone to our eternal life. So prepare ourselves and have that in mind. As citizens of the heavenly kingdom, we want to start practicing it right now and live lives of love. Because we know the spirit world is the dwelling place of God's love. And so to become citizens, to become people prepared for that spirit world, we need to grow our ability to love. Sharing love and receiving love. Giving love to others and receiving love. So this is all that first great purpose in our life, right? To grow ourselves, to become people of true love. Follow our conscience, prepare ourselves for the spirit world, practice mind-body unity is another point that he makes in here. Work on our self-discipline and self-control. Well, on that foundation, we want to perfect love in the family. And that's not just our physical family, but that also includes our spiritual family, our church family, our extended tribe. Perfect that practice of love. Parent-child, the husband-wife relationship, the children towards parents, parents towards children, brothers and sisters, these different realms of heart and love. Practice that, explore that, experiment with that in our family. This is our training ground, right? Is at home. But not just in our physical family, but our church community is also where we need to practice loving. So think, outside of Sunday, do you see people in your church family other than Sunday mornings? Are we making effort to connect with each other outside of church to expand that relationship and that friendship and fellowship? So it impacts and affects all different aspects of our lives. And then the fourth point is those people who are citizens, owners of the heavenly kingdom, well, we are heaven's emissaries to the world. We're the people who bring the amazing truth and love of God's kingdom to other people. and also educate and invite people to come. We have an open immigration policy in the kingdom of heaven. The doors are wide open. Come on, all you people. Actually, this was the original model for America. Send us your poor and your weak. Come to America, because we promise we'll give them the best chance possible for them to grow and to create a good life. It wasn't that they would come and they would get good welfare benefits here. No, that they would come and they would have a good chance to be able to build a great life through their own effort, their hard work. They could create something new that was impossible in the old world. Well, same thing. We're inviting people. We are emissaries, representatives of this heavenly kingdom, inviting people to enter and to create something that could not be created in the outside. A place where genuine freedom comes from knowing I am loved, experiencing the genuine presence of God in my life, in my family, and in my community. And on that foundation, going out and being creative in this world, making a powerful difference and change in the world. And the fifth point is that as citizens, as owners of this heavenly kingdom, we are people who love and protect nature. We care for the environment. In California, we're challenged because it hasn't been much rain. Right? Everybody's been hearing that in the news. We're one of the driest winters we've had on record. The snowpack is way down, like 20% of normal. So, I heard some of the young people have volunteered to stop brushing their teeth, in order to save water. I volunteered to stop taking a bath, but my wife said, maybe no bath, but you still take a shower, okay? But anyway, we need to be conscientious about our environment. We need people who love and care for our environment. Good stewards of this amazing, beautiful planet that we live on. And also not just nature, but also all physical things. We need to be good caretakers, stewards, owners. This is right, the third great blessing, to have a true dominion of love over all the things of our creation. So you can see in the core elements here the three great purposes of life, right, that we hear. The first purpose, myself, to grow myself and to become someone who knows God and experiences God. This is what citizens of the heavenly kingdom, owners of Cheon Il Guk, do. And secondly, to establish a family that multiplies out to our community, our neighborhood, and our world. The second great purpose in life. This is the kind of world, kind of society we're looking for in that heavenly kingdom. Not that's off in the spirit world, but that's here in the physical world. And then third, our dominion over the things of creation. Not just nature, but also our money, our finances, our car, our house, my room. Gee, is my room clean? My desk at work? Well, maybe I need to work on that one. Don't forget. Take care of your things. Keep things clean. Don't use them. Don't break them. Take care of things. So all these things, this is what it means for us to be owners of the heavenly kingdom. The owners of Cheon Il Guk, the possessors of that heavenly kingdom. So, the motto for this year, become people who truly possess the heavenly kingdom. Possess it, through inheriting it, through being people who occupy it and practice it and resemble it. Be people who grow it and build it, and people who are willing to sacrifice and make it real and make it last. We are those people. This is our challenge. And all this is on the basis of loving as God, the Creator, our loving Heavenly Parent, loves. With that true, perfect, unconditional love. Here's how Father Moon says it. Clearly understand that the ideal world will start from you as an individual. When you are with God's love, which you can put into practice in your daily life, in human relationships. Love will start from you reaching out to all things as it originally started from God reaching out to you. So let's be those heavenly citizens, ambassadors to the rest of the world, to invite our open immigration policy. Please come, join, become citizens of God's heavenly kingdom, the realm of God's true love. Please join me in prayer. Good morning, Father, Mother, God, our loving heavenly parent, you've invested so much in your children throughout all of human history. When we look and study from the very beginning, when Adam and Eve first fell away, and you ached and grieved and suffered, immediately in Adam's family you tried to bring the tools of restoration and healing. And yet, because of the failure of human responsibility, that was delayed. And delayed again in Noah's family. And delayed again in Abraham's family. Until finally, in 3 generations, you could finally claim a foundation for the chosen people. And then, 2,000 years ago, you sent your precious Son, Jesus Christ, to build that heavenly kingdom in His lifetime. And yet, because of the failure of the chosen people at that time, He could only establish it spiritually. And so for 2,000 years, you've ached and yearned and worked to try to build the strongest possible foundation for that kingdom. And now, Heavenly Parent, we live in a world that has the potential to make that real. And yet, still, the providence has been delayed over and over and over again. And yet now we stand on the foundation of our true parents' lives. On Foundation Day, just a year ago, where the preparation for this new heavenly world has been laid substantially. But in order to bring it to pass, we need to be those people. And Heavenly Parent, we determine to be those people that you can trust, that you can work through, that can bring love and healing to the world and the environment around us. Thank you, Heavenly Parent, for never giving up on us. We determined to be those overcomers, that determined to overcome anything, any challenges that come before us, centered and through the power of your precious love. So as your sons and daughters, as grateful, blessed Central families, we offer up this prayer and ourselves to you. Amen and adieu. Okay, thank you. Please turn to your neighbor, your fellow citizens in the heavenly kingdom, and share about citizenship. God bless.